Well, it's summertime and I'm growing out my hair for the first time in like 25 years. So I got this hair tie to kind of make sure my head doesn't look like a giant mushroom cloud. Shut up. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Michael Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, you like the books that I talk about, or maybe you're one of the few men that wears a head tie that isn't a tennis player like me, you've come to the right place, my friend. You can follow us on Twitter, Getter, TikTok, and Rumble, or you can subscribe right down below on YouTube and Rumble, and hit that little bell. That way you know when the next video comes out. But more importantly, be a part of the conversation. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know if there's any books you want me to read. Like and share these videos with your friends, or even donate to the show. I appreciate that. That helps sponsor the show for the books you see on the shelf, the lighting, sound, everything that makes me look beautiful. All right, fellers, we're going to take a look at a cool book that I just finished a few days ago, and I'm excited because now I get to share it with you. Today, we're going to take a look at It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Hoover is a quickly rising star out of Texas. Hooray! She's from Texas, cool, just like me. Anyway, who's a New York Times bestselling author of books such as Slammed, Ugly Love, and November 9th, or is it November 9? I don't know. Either way, this is a story of love and heartbreak that immerses the reader into the full nature of relationships, from the heartwarming to actually the blood chilling. It's really a full dynamic, that full immersive experience you get from this book, and it's really exciting to read. All right, let's take a look at the aesthetics. Busy. I'm an old man. Be nice, keep it simple, not too much crazy. At least the color scheme is kind of easy on the eyes, so I'll give it points for that. So as far as the aesthetics, 5 out of 10. Now let's look at the readability. Hoover is superb at writing in a straightforward storytelling manner that doesn't lose you with superfluous language. Big word. She also keeps the story moving quickly and doesn't chew the furniture for 20 pages. So the reading experience is quick and it's enjoyable. And you don't get lost in these ridiculously long backstories of a random character, or you don't get lost in what the wallpaper looks like of a room. She's very direct in her language, so it actually keeps the story moving forward, which I really appreciate. So as far as the readability goes, perfect score. 10 out of 10. All right, let's take a look at the content. The story begins with us meeting Lily, a beautiful young woman who lives in Boston after the death of her abusive father. But she doesn't live a really exemplary life, nothing too crazy by any measure, but a new acquaintance begins to really change all that, change the dynamic of her life. Ryle, or is it Riley? I read like a 4-year-old retarded monkey, so sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to assume it's Ryle, because that's how I read it. Anyway, Ryle is an up-and-coming neurosurgeon, and he comes into her life and really captures her mind and captures her heart, and she becomes overall obsessed with him, and he, in turn, becomes obsessed with her. He's got a lot of qualities that are both admirable for a man, but also endearing to women, ranging from his career success and his ambition, to his gentleness and care towards Lily, his willingness to really go above and beyond to show his infatuation and his affection for her. When she originally meets him, he has these initial reservations about relationships and settling down, doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to have kids. He just wants these kind of loose, modern man's idea of just kind of one-night stands, use them and lose them. And that whole worldview for him begins to get overturned by his love and his care for Lily, and he begins to change as their courtship continues. As this is happening, she finds her own life and career begins to bloom, just like his, as the relationship progresses. Unfortunately, as time goes on, Ryle begins to show a much more dark and sinister nature that pulls Lily back to her abusive home, which was a home and a lifestyle that she swore that she would never be a part of again. She took a look at her mother and how her mother endured the abuse of her father, and she essentially told herself that all her life that her mother was weak, and that if she ever knew a man that showed even the first signs of that kind of abuse and that willingness to harm her, that she would leave him instantly. But this relationship really changes her perspective on that. Now it also begins to unearth buried memories of a boy she knew and loved in her hometown. Atlas, who was a homeless boy she cared for, and who in turn cared for her during both of their kind of darkest days of their lives, had a permanent impact on her life and on her heart. It had this kind of permanent indentation on how she views relationships, as well as that of, on the abusive side, her father. Atlas was kind of this eternal caregiver and this essentially perfect lover that she had built up in her mind as a young teenager. As their memories resurface, ironically, so does Atlas. They kind of encounter all three encounter each other in Boston, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, it begins to bring even more hell into a budding nightmare of a relationship between Lily and Rob. It's a really action-packed, fast-moving book that doesn't just have kind of the light romantic stuff, but it also has kind of these deeper real-world relationship problems that you see kind of in everyday America. And the only hangups I have about the book have nothing to do with the negative aspects of Lily's relationship, but actually with the positive ones. Some of the interactions and dialogue she has with Ryle seem rather far-fetched, but I can't really discount it entirely because outside of my own marriage, I don't exactly walk up to my friends and random guys and ask them, hey, what kind of crazy stuff do you say to your girlfriend to get them in the mood? So there's some stuff in the book I'm like, I don't know if that would be my number one line there. But anyway, overall, it's a gripping book that holds your interest well and goes from romantic and, light and feminine to very dark and disturbing at the drop of a hat, which I thought Hoover did a really, really good job with. She also, in the book, includes, at the very end, some of her own life story and how it actually ties in. So you can tell that she has a lot of real-world experience regarding this kind of sinister nature in some of these relationships that get abusive. So Hoover did a really good job. So as far as the content goes, very solid score, 8 out of 10. I do want to give a special shout out to my students who suggested this book. I had released on the channel's TikTok what books I should read. They said, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. So I decided, screw it, I'll give it a shot. And I wasn't disappointed. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely worth the read. I found this book at Barnes & Noble. You could also find it at Barnes & Noble or just buy it online if you're feeling lazy or live out in the middle of nowhere. But again, I suggest you go out to the actual bookstore because the experience is always something. So anyway, the book is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Go out and get yourself a copy. You won't regret it. It's a very fun read. Thanks for watching, everybody, and go read something.